How to divide your assets fairly in a New York divorce. In New York, couples must divide their assets according to the state's equitable distribution law. The court considers a number of factors when determining how assets should be divided, and these include the length of the marriage, the income of each spouse, the contribution of each spouse to the marriage, the standard of living during the marriage, and any other relevant factors. Separate property is any property that was owned by one spouse prior to the marriage, and it is not subject to equitable distribution. Marital property, on the other hand, is any property acquired during the marriage and is subject to equitable distribution. The court will also consider any special circumstances, such as the health of either spouse or any agreements made between the parties. Understanding the factors that determine how assets are divided in a New York divorce. These include the length of the marriage, the income of each spouse, the contribution of each spouse to the marriage, the standard of living during the marriage, and any other relevant factors. In addition, the court will consider the tax implications of the division of assets. For example, the court may consider whether one spouse would be better off with a certain asset in order to minimize taxes. Who gets the house in a divorce in New York? When it comes to deciding who gets the house in a divorce in New York, the court will consider a number of factors. These include the length of the marriage, the income of each spouse, the contribution of each spouse to the marriage, the standard of living during the marriage, and any other relevant factors. The court will also consider the separate property and marital property of the couple when deciding how to divide assets. Ultimately, the court will make a decision based on the best interests of both parties. Retirement accounts, such as pensions, 401(k)s and IRAs, are often subject to division during a divorce in New York. The court will consider the contributions of both spouses to the marriage when determining how assets should be divided, including any financial and non-financial contributions, such as homemaking, parenting, and emotional support. Once the court has considered all of these factors, it will make a ruling on how assets should be divided. The court's ruling is final and binding, and it is important to note that it can take some time for the court to make a ruling. When it comes to dividing assets in a divorce in New York, it is important to consider the tax implications. If you are facing a divorce in New York and need assistance with dividing your assets, call Port and Sava, 516-352-2999 for a free 15-minute telephone consultation.